Hello everyone, it's Dawn here and welcome back. Well, today we're going to be doing a fairly big painting in watercolour. Well, not hugely big, but it's an A3 painting. And I'm using, for those that are interested, Bockingford cream tinted £140 knot surface watercolour painting. Or paper. Golly, that was a mouthful, wasn't it? Don't ask me to say it again. But what we're going to do, I haven't bothered too much about the details of the trees. Usually I paint trees a little bit better than that with a bit more detail, but this isn't about the trees. I wanted to keep it simple because this is about what will be the reflections. As you can see, the paper is a bit mucky and yucky and you're thinking, ugh, you can't possibly do anything with that. Well, actually you can. So this isn't really about covering up any mistakes. This is a demonstration about how we can get a sheen on our water to make it look wet in a very unconventional way. Well, fairly unconventional anyway, so for me, if it's unconventional, then it's even better. What we're going to do, we're going to use watercolour, traditional watercolour, but before we put any paint on, what we're going to do, we're going to use some of this. If I turn it around the right way, you'll see what it is. It's acrylic medium actually, and it's an iridescent medium. And what we're going to do, I'm just going to show you, you'll need some water. I've got some water just off camera hiding over there. And what we're going to do, we're just going to dip it in. I shall do this the same process each time. I'm going to dip it in like that, and we're going to pick up a fairly thick application of medium on our brush, and it has got blue in it. But that's alright, it's because I've used it before and I didn't wash my brush out properly, but that's okay. We'll just keep doing that. And we're going to paint this medium with the gooey paint already in it, but that's alright. It looks a mess now, but it won't, she says hopefully. So we're going to carry on, and we're going to paint this all the way across. The yuckier it looks now, hopefully, the better it'll look when we're done. So I'm going to try and get this done fairly quickly, well, this part anyway, because I want to get on to the next part and show you how effective this wet look will actually seem when we're done, because that's the reason I did the very basic trees, because I wanted to show you how effective. Oops, I've gone over that, and that should be, I've made a mistake there, but that doesn't matter because that should be a bit of grass, but that's okay. We'll just go over it. Oh, let's go all the way down to the bottom. Why not? That's okay. We can cope with that. No problem. There's no mistakes in watercolour. You don't make mistakes. You just change your mind and readjust. So there, that's quite a thick layer of acrylic iridescent medium. And we're not going to bother waiting for it to dry. That's why I haven't put my orange background, because this does make a mess. And once it dries, it might dry before we're done. And once it's dry, you can't get the damn thing you can't get it off. So that's why I'm doing it like this. And we're going to wash our brush out very, very thoroughly. Because if you get this on your brush and you don't get it out, you'll ruin your brush. It'll dry like glue, and this isn't one of my best brushes, but it's a good enough brush for this. It's not a bad brush actually, but it's one of my older brushes. I think rather than not good, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just one of my older brushes that I've bashed about a bit. So I'm going to wash it out very thoroughly, and because it's a bigger paper than I normally use, well, for demonstrations anyway, I've got some blue. I'll just bring my palette over. I've got some blue here, and I'm just very dilute, so we're just going to dip into the water over there, and we're going to take our blue like that. I'll just pop the palette out the way, and we're going to start at the top and run that blue across there. We might actually need it a bit stronger, but that's okay. Just take a bit more. I'll show you what I've done with my paints. I've actually squeezed, these are tube paints, they're not pans, but I've squeezed them into an empty pan set, or an empty pan case. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to dip in like that and into my dilute mixture. I'll just bring this over here. When you do the camera work yourself, you have to do everything. So I'm just going to do that just to strengthen it a bit. Sorry I knocked the camera there. I forgot where the stand was. So we'll carry on. That's better. And so that might be a bit too thick actually, but no, that's fine. No, we're okay. We'll carry on. And that layer of iridescent medium, because I put it on fairly thickly, will shine through, as you can see. Let's do it with the flat of the brush, we'll get the job done quicker. It will shine through and give a nice glow to your water. So we'll keep going all the way down. We'll go all the way down. I was going to put some grass in that bottom corner, but I've changed my mind. Artistic license, I think they call that. We'll go all the way down to the bottom. We won't put any grass in the corner. That's okay, no problem at all. We'll go all the way down, right down to the bottom. Maybe I'll just put a bit of grass over there. In this corner, down here, the right hand corner. Perhaps we'll put a little bit of grass there. We'll see. Well, we'll make it up as we go along. As one of my American friends says, we'll wing it. So that'll do for now. And then what we're going to do, I'm going to wash my brush out because it might pick up some of that acrylic medium because it won't be dry just yet. It dries fairly quickly, but not that quickly. And I'm going to take a round brush, a large round brush. And again on my palette, you might have seen, I've got some green. I'm actually going to make it a bit thicker. I should have done this before I started filming, but that's all right, won't take a minute. I'm just going to use yellow ochre and some sap green. Ah, lovely. And I'm just going to mix that up. Put a little water into it, not too much. And what we're going to do with this, while it's all still good and wet, we're going to more or less mimic the trees like this, and we're just going to shade it down like that. And because you've got that lovely sheen underneath, it's going to look wet. I'll give you a tip with reflections. If you keep them vertical and blurred, the reflections will always look wet. Your water will always look wet. So just keep your reflections vertical, in other words going down, and blurred. And then all we're going to do to finish that little bit, I'm going to wash my brush out, and I'm going to go back to my nice flat brush, pick up some more of the blue. There's plenty of it, but this time I'm going to use it on its side like this, and I'm going to streak it across where the reflections are to put in some ripples and put those reflections right down into the river, and that makes it look even more vertical, and well, certainly not more vertical but blurred. So we'll just cover that bit there, and you get lovely vertical blurred reflections, and you make that water look really wet, which is absolutely gorgeous. I found this technique quite by accident. It was one of those things, I looked at it and I thought, wonder if that'll work. It was one of those I wonder if scenarios. So I'm just going to pop that up there like that. Well, I've still got my nice brush here. We'll carry on with it. I'm just going to pick up a bit more and make the grass. I am going to put some grass at the bottom of this. I never know what I'm going to do till I start painting. So I'll just make up a little bit more. So with my yellow ochre and my green, and I'm going to put a touch, just a touch, of Payne's grey to make it a touch darker. Not too much, otherwise it'll overpower it and make it go black. Maybe just a touch more. So I've done that over there, and all I'm going to do, all you do with this is you touch it till it bends and flick. Like that. So you just touch it and flick. So this is your flat brush, just touch it till the brush bends and flick. Flick up, like that. Just like that. And you've got grass all along the bottom of your painting, if that's what you want. If you don't want it, don't put it in. But I decided I would in the end, just to finish it off really. And we're nearly done. And there you go. You have your lovely, and you've got some light bits on there because it's still showing through. And you have, this is all about the reflections really, so I haven't bothered too much about the grass. It's just to show you how this looks, and if you put some grass there it just enhances it. Now if I was going to finish this painting I'd make this grass even darker, and I wouldn't have put medium across there. But if I bring that down so that we can't see that, that's what our water looks like, and as you can see it looks wet, and those vertically blurred reflections really enhance that wet look. So I hope that's given you some ideas, or an idea, on how you would make, or how you can make your water look wet in a watercolour painting. Now I wouldn't advise doing this with an acrylic. I know it's an acrylic medium, but of course that's a lot thicker, so it may not work. I haven't tried it, but it possibly wouldn't work unless you thinned it. So that's how I did it with watercolour, tube watercolour. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and please do join me on Friday for my weekly roundup, and I'll be including this in here, and I'll see you very soon. And until next time, please do stay safe, take care, and enjoy everything that you do. Bye bye for now.